So let me welcome everybody once again to the town hall. And today we have amazing things on the town hall. So for our agenda today, we are going to have a website engagement report from the data analytics circle. And then we are going to have results from the agentic AI ideation, which I think a lot of people are excited for this part from Crips. And then we are going to have another beautiful presentation from our dearest Livier, and she'll be presenting on glucose diol. Then we are going to have another presentation. Oh, I'm going way ahead of myself. Then we are going to have community spotlights. Then finally have our usual announcements. So if you need coffee, please do get your coffee. If you need tea, get your tea. If you need water, get your water, because it's going to be a beautiful ride this evening. So to start today's town hall, we are going to talk a little bit about deep funding and what deep funding is about. So Deep Funding is a community-driven grants program by SingularityNET designed to accelerate the development of decentralized beneficial artificial general intelligence by providing milestones-based funding. We empower innovators, researchers, and developers to bring their AI project to life while retaining full ownership of their intellectual property rights. So Deep Funding's mission: we turn your groundbreaking ideas into reality. Join a global community pushing the boundaries of AI innovation through funding, collaboration, and open source impact. So Deep Funding needs you. So this is where we call on people to write in proposals, and we have those who write in proposals. You can join the community by writing proposals. You could vote, you could downvote or upvote a proposal for it to be funded. You could review. So in Deep Funding, we have the review circle. You could be part of them and review some of these proposals, and we could discuss like how we are doing here on the town hall. Gael, do you have something to say? Ah, your hands are raised. I think it's a mistake, right? Okay, let's continue. So we could discuss about your proposal, like on the town hall, and then we have circles. So in Deep Funding, we have lots of circles. Like the circle I'm from, we are called the event circle, and it's the best circle in Deep Funding so far. And we have the marketing circle, we have the data analytics circle, we have the IT circle, and many more circles. So for Deep Funding, we've been able to fund 7.19 million plus dollars into cash into proposals or projects. And for contributors, we have 1,557. And for awarded projects, we have 143. So your town hall, this town hall is for you. You can submit a proposal. You can get community feedbacks, secure funding, launch your SingularityNET, launch on SingularityNET. This is where your idea or your project can be put on the marketplace and you can monetize your AI services. So this is where you can connect with us. This is our community portal. You could scan this QR code and be part of Deep Funding by joining a circle, or you could book a presentation slot. And you could have calendar of all the things that are happening in Deep Funding on the community portal, and you could keep track of everything that is happening in Deep Funding. So here is our town hall. The town hall is for me and it's for you. We want to hear from you. So if you would want to discuss, or if you want to bring your ideas or your project here, we could open like how we've opened the town hall today for you, to have your proposal or idea here, and the community will hear about you and ask questions and see how they can collaborate with you. We could also host breakout rooms about any specific topic you would want to discuss or talk about. Yeah, so that is what we have for Deep Funding. So For agenda, we will go just right into it. I'm sure we have Oscar on the call. Oscar, you could unmute and say hi. So we are sure you are here.
I'm here. Hello.
Oscar will be taking the first part of our agenda, and he's doing this on behalf of the Data Analytics Circle. Oscar, please, you can go ahead and share your presentation.
Hello, everyone. A moment.
Hi.
Also, guys, at any point, feel free to come and interrupt Priscilla. If you guys want to, feel free to unmute, speak, and contribute.
You are the star, Priscilla. Keep going.
I'm actually I thought Oscar was here. We've lost Oscar. Oh, it's sad we've lost Oscar.
Oscar
Maybe
is still here, I think. No?
he is. I can't find him. Oh, okay.
No.
He's back. He's back. Hi, Oscar. Oh, he's not here. He's gone again.
No, it's gone now. Maybe
Yeah.
we should
Okay.
we move on to the next topic, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, we can. So as we wait for Oscar, we can move on and have our second agenda, which is to have a presentation from CRIPS. Is anyone here from CRIPS? I heard Egu will be the one to present on behalf of CRIPS.
Yeah.
Egu, are you here?
I'm here.
Here.
Yes, we have Egu, and now we have Oscar as well.
Oscar, yeah. Okay. Egu, give us like some few minutes for Oscar to finish his presentation, then we will come back to you.
No problem.
Oscar, are you ready to present now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you need to be made co-host? Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah. Can you all see my screen?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay. Lovely. All right. Good evening once again to everyone. So I'm going to have a quick walkthrough of our website engagement report using charts to explain what happened across the year. So, and more importantly, like why it also happened. So as I go through each chart, I'm not only going to focus on just the numbers alone. I would explain what the patterns mean, what they tell us about the user behavior, what we should do about it. And the key theme you would hear throughout all of this too is it's a thing to bring like people into the website, and it's also like another thing to try and retain them. So let's start with the first chart, which gives us a full like overall summary of the engagement. So with the summary of this engagement, is telling us a mixed story. So with more people showed up and a higher share of the visit counts as engaged, but the visits became less deep. You can see that because the active users and the new users are also up, and the engagement rate too is also up, while the bounce rate is down. On the surface, I mean, this looks like the site is doing better. But at the same time too, the summary also shows engagement time is down, which means people spend less time engaged, time on the overall website as well. And this means more people arrived and fewer people also left immediately, but they still didn't stay as long. So engagement became more quick than deep. When we look at the trend over time as well, we can see that the main message in the website is that it didn't grow in a steady way. It grew up in spikes, as we can see over here. And that usually happens when something specific usually pulls people in. So things like community announcements, deadline, a round, open-ended RFP, or a dwalathon, or maybe a voting moment. The reason this matters is quite very simple, because if we rely on spikes alone, then performance depends on whether we keep creating those moments that bring people back. You can also see that after the mid-year, the line feels a bit flatter. That is in the second half over here. Yeah, so which means fewer people were returning regularly. That normally happens when people have fewer reasons to come back, like fewer fresh opportunities to check, fewer fresh updates, or fewer reminders pushing them back into the site. For the table we have over here, the table explains why this can happen and gives us the real truth about the first half and the second half. So the table shows that in the second half, total sessions and engaged sessions both dropped compared to H1. And returning users also dropped hard. That's the key point, although, because returning users are usually the people who come back to log in, to check the dashboard, to explore proposals, and maybe do multi-step journeys. When the returning users also fall, the whole platform naturally feels less attractive in a way, even if new people keep coming in. The table shows that the depth in signals falling in H2, like average engagement time per active user, the average engagement time per session, the views, the events per sessions, and the total event count. It means that even when someone did visit in the second half, they did fewer actions and explored fewer pages. So the interpretation over here is that second half looked cleaner on the engagement rate and bounce rate, but in the first half, it was stronger for the real platform usage and the depth because more people returned, sessions produced more activity. For my recommendation and suggestion for this is to, the main thing to fix is the rebuild reasons to return, right? And measure them properly. So we should create a predictable rhythm of updates that gives people a clear reason to come back every now and then. Then we should also push those updates out through community channels and partner sites in a consistent way. So the platform does not solely rely on random spikes. What I would also focus next in this next update presentation would happen maybe in a couple of weeks' time is to look at the reporting success after all these implementations have been made. For the device category and countries, over here, it shows who is using the site and what they are using. So the site is mainly used on desktop with mobile still very much. Or compare some sort of information or to do steps that are easier on a computer. On the browser side, most users are on the Windows and the Chrome. For my suggestion here too, since most users are on the desktop and mainly Chrome Windows, we should also make sure that most important journeys feels smooth over here first. That means maybe checking the page speed, readability, friction on the key pages people use to take actions like visiting home pages and other important pages too as well. So at the same time, we should also treat the mobile as a quick check channel. I mean, we should learn to also try and keep them like faster, reduce heavy page elements, and also make the main actions easy to tap and also complete. And if the mobile is slow, maybe confusing, people would bounce even if they were interested in something. For the country breakdown and trend too as well, it shows where users are coming from. So the United States is a major audience here, and we see a strong activity from China and other countries like Nigeria and India. But the most important thing over here is the spike late in the year, especially driven by the North Set. And as we all know, North Set is not a country, right? So I would explain why we have the North Set here. So it means Google Analytics couldn't confidently detect the location of these users, right? So that usually happens because of things like VPNs, sometimes the traffic that doesn't behave like normal users, maybe sometimes to privacy settings. So in honesty, I would say that the spike might be real interest for maybe a big push, but it might also be tracking limitations or low quality traffic. and I'm still investigating this, so we don't mistake the noise. So we may not mistake noise for growth, if I should put it, yes, because it may be real traffic. The recommendation too I would have over here is, as I said earlier on, so the investigation would go on into the spike before we use it as evidence in decision making. Also, the simplest checks are what landing pages those users entered on, whether they spent real time or just bounced, whether they visited multiple pages, and whether they returned later. If the behavior looks real and valuable, we should identify what also caused it, being it maybe an announcement, maybe a hackathon or a campaign or whatever it is that happened. For the top traffic sources, the top events too as well. So over here, we see where our sessions are coming from. So meaning people first arrive on the website, and also the biggest source is direct. And it's important that I also explain the direct to all of us so we properly understand what the direct means over here. So it does not mean people only type in the website link, right? So very often it means someone clicked on the link from places where those channels don't always pass tracking. They don't always pass tracking details into Google Analytics. So direct can also mean private sharing, or maybe unknown source, or maybe just some type traffic. The next biggest source we can see over here is the Google organic, which is a strong sign because it means people are searching and also finding us with like real intent. Then we have referrals like SingularityNET.io, LinkedIn, which usually means that users came through like an ecosystem website or a professional post, so they arrive with more context. We also see the T.co, which is basically traffic coming in from X, and also smaller sources like Bing, and also Deep Funding.ai as well in the form of a referral. Also, the big pattern on the trend line is the large spike, as we spoke earlier on in the year, and it's mainly direct. So yeah, so it also suggests with either a major share wave like through the private channels, or maybe they were tracking details that were not passed clearly. So we need to investigate that further, as I said earlier on. With the recommendation, we need to keep the direct strong by making it more visible. So it means when we share these links publicly or in community channels, we need to attach certain tags so we can tell the difference between WhatsApp users, Telegram shares, email shares, and maybe other partner posts too as well, or maybe coming in from Twitter as well. Then we should actively grow the sources that bring high intent users as well. We'll also need to improve the pages that Google search users also land on, and also work with partners like SingularityNET and also LinkedIn posts to send steady referral traffic, and it shouldn't be only during big moments as well. And finally, when we see a big direct spike, I would quickly also check what pages those users landed on, whether they behave like real users, so we don't confuse a spike with long-term growth. So for the top events, I mean, it basically just means what people do on the website. This particular section tells us what people actually do once they arrive. So the top events are mainly basic actions like page views, scrolls, sessions, first visits, and also user engagement. It means most users behave like readers. They come in, they consume information, and they leave. The simple reason can be attributed to the fact that maybe there were not clear next steps, or maybe whatever information that was there required them to just read, so they just stopped at that and just move on. So the recommendation over here to will be to just try and turn more readers into doers, so we can put a clear next step on the homepage on every key page as well, then have a funnel analysis to see user journeys on where the people are coming from. And the last thing on this page is the landing page that I would want to touch on. So this also shows the very first people, where the very first people land on once they enter into the website. So the homepage is the top landing page, which is normal, because most people either search the brand or click a general link or just start from, the front door, wherever it is that they found the link. But what's encouraging is that we also see action-focused pages on the high list, like the all RFPs and login to as well, which tells us that some visitors are not only browsing, but this normally this had to do with things that normally happened in the first half of the year. So they are coming in with intent to explore opportunities or access their account. We also see pages like the RFP ideation, the feeds, the profile explore, and which confirms that real user journeys are happening, which we'll need to dig deep and see where people end up on. Yes. But the main red flag over here too is still the not set showing up as a landing page. And it has an extremely high bounce rate too as well. The not set is not a real page, as we all know. So we'll need to capture the landing page correctly for those sessions. So that can happen because of redirect tracking being blocked, missing tags, or maybe tags that were not included in certain links that were posted on several channels, maybe cross-domain issues too as well, or maybe traffic coming in from where Google Analytics couldn't tell the exact source. So we can also see that on the trend line, the not set spikes sharply late in the year. We've been talking about it throughout the presentation, which suggests that whatever caused the spike also caused the landing pages track to fall or produce low quality sessions. So the reason this matters is quite simple. If we don't fix the not sets, it can inflate our session counts and hide the real pages that are truly performing. For my quick recommendation, so first, I would first treat the not set as a tracking quality issue to fix quickly. Meaning, I would check the redirect and how analytics loads on the first page, and the cross-domain tracking, and also testing the site in the same way users entered from whatever platform that they came in from. And also, secondly, we should also strengthen the top real landing pages because they decide whether a visitor becomes a returning user. On conversions and top pages, so over here, it lets us understand two things, right? Where people take meaningful actions are coming from and what pages they spend most of their time on. So in this context, and conversions simply mean users taking important actions like reaching the login page, maybe sign-in page, maybe the dashboard, or any other important page that we have. The biggest source over here too is the direct. So a lot of meaningful actions are coming from community sharing and private channels and analytics group. And also analytics may group many of these visits under the direct because of how those tools kind of like work. The organic tool is the next biggest source, which is a strong sign because it shows people also find the platform through search with real intent. Referrals like SingularityNET and LinkedIn also show that the pages and professional sharing also drive users into the site. Now, for the top pages section, it shows what users do once they arrive. Right. So the dashboard and homepage are the most viewed pages, and the login are also high, which confirms, real platform usage, not only on browsing, but pages like all RFPs, the fees, awarded projects also appear near the top, which means, people are actively exploring those opportunities. And then again, almost all, or I would say most of these opportunities were coming in from the first half. So the simple story is that, users are already following a natural journey across these pages, and that the journey is where the serious platform activity normally happens. So in conclusion, the simplest, honest reason I would say people didn't come back as much in H2 is that, there were fewer strong return triggers. People written when they have a reason, new opportunities, new updates, active cycles, maybe any other information that will lead them to actually come back. And when those triggers are weaker or less frequent, the site becomes more like an information page that a platform people repeatedly use. The second reason is reminders, right? So in second half, the channels that keep bringing people back, like the search and the referrals, were also weak. So fewer people were being reminded to return at the right time. So the clear message over here is this. I mean, so less reason to return like people would actually lead to like a flatter line. And that's what we saw in the second half. With my final recommendation and also suggestion for this summary is that we should try and build a simple return system that runs often. It shouldn't be periodically. I mean, it should be quite often, not only during like big moments. I mean, meaning we don't have to rely on regular updates on. That means, I mean, regular updates on what's open, what's closing soon, what's new, what users should do next, and maybe distributing those updates through search-friendly pages too as well, and also partner referrals and also social posts with correct tagging too as well, improved tagging. So over time, this would also create a habit and a stable traffic because users learn that there's always something new worth checking. And when this report progresses, we would focus on the return users and the deep actions first, because this shows that whether the platform is becoming something people repeatedly use. Thank you all. That's all from me.
Oh, you're welcome. Let's show some love to Oscar.
Thank you, Oscar.
This
Appreciate
is
your work.
really, yeah, this is really in-depth. This is really in-depth. Thank you, Oscar. Anyone have a question for Oscar? So this analysis was done for the community websites, right? Oscar.
Deepfunding.ai website, not the
Oh,
community.
okay.
Deepfunding.ai website. Yeah.
Yes. So this is a sign for all of us to, well, I have done mine. I don't know for you guys. It's a sign to create your profile on Explore. Deepfunding.ai. If you go there, you see the Explore just at the top. Immediately you do that, you see Explore, then you can create your profile and interact with people. You could find me there and follow me and I'll follow you back. So yeah, it's Deep Funding LinkedIn, so you guys can just make good use of it. So in moving forward, second on the agenda, we have the results from the AI agentic ideation, and we'll be having that presentation from Egu. He's part of the CRIPS team. Is Egu here? I saw you earlier. Hi, Egu.
Hey, I'm right here. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you are live and clear.
Wonderful.
I hear you.
All right. Can I share my screen?
A moment. Yes, you can.
Okay. Let me do that right now. Thank you. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. Let me take it from the top. Okay. Hello everyone. Good afternoon, good morning. I guess good morning comes first. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are, and I hope we are all doing great. As Prisla rightly mentioned, I'm Iwafu Kwesi. I'm coordinator of the review circle and coordinator of the CRISP and pre-CRISP as well. And I'm here to present the results for the Agentic AI Ideation Challenge and also to give a report, a CRISP report. But we are not going to roll the drums yet. There'll be no drum rolls yet. We have to take the first thing. So first of all, the full meaning of CRISP, as we can see, it's an acronym, but the full meaning of CRISP is the Core RFP Ideation Selection Panel. And we hosted the Agentic Ideation Challenge where community members submitted ideas. But first of all, we need to know what the Agentic Ideation Challenge was all about. So for this challenge, the Agentic AI refers to systems that exhibit the following characteristics. So the first characteristic is autonomy, where the system is able to operate independently to pursue defined goals. The second characteristic is goal orientation, where the system that the proposer proposes focuses on outcomes and not just executing isolated commands. The third characteristic is planning and reasoning, where the system is able to break down, or the proposed system is able to break down complex objectives into subtasks and select appropriate courses of action. The fourth characteristic is tool use. That is, the system should be able to integrate with external tools, APIs, databases, or services to gather information and also act or execute. Then the final characteristic is adaptability, where the proposed system should be able to learn from interactions and adjust behavior as condition changes or conditions change. So the first phase of the review process was done by the pre-CRISP team, and the pre-CRISP team are a group of members from the review circle who do the initial filtering phase of the ideas. Now, the wonderful thing is that the CRISP and pre-CRISP, in collaboration with IT circle, and I have to give a shout out to the IT circle for making this happen, because they built the ideation platform on which the reviews were done. So on the ideation platform, they created it in such a way that the reviewers do not even see the proposers. Why did we do this? Because we were trying to avoid bias in review. So really, really good job by the IT circle. So the first phase was a blinded review and filtering by the pre-CRISP team, which serves as a broader screening stage based on the following evaluated criteria. We reviewed ideas based on innovation, feasibility, and potential impact. Then, after the pre-CRISP were done reviewing, the top 40 ideas were passed onto the CRISP. Now, same for the CRISP, it was more of a blinded review where the CRISP members also do not see the proposal of the idea. So blinded review and filtering by the CRISP team to conduct a more detailed and rigorous evaluation of the of the ideas shortlisted by the pre-CRISP. So this review included in-depth analysis of feasibility, innovation and potential impact, advanced ethical evaluation, rigorous technical assessment, evaluation of alignment with the challenge goals, and the use of agentic AI approaches. Now, 11 ideas were selected by the CRISP. 6 ideas. So community hubs and events. So after the CRISP were done with the final review, the community hubs were given the opportunity to also vote on the ideas that the CRISP has selected. And also another shout out to the event circle for also planning out spotlight days for the finalists. So community hub and event circle organize spotlight days across multiple global time zones. The top 20 ideas received an ASI Create platform credit voucher. I think that was listed as part of some of the prizes the proposers in the top 20 ideas we're going to receive. That was a credit voucher to the ASI Create platform. So 6 ideas were selected. 4 were selected by the community hubs and 2 by the CRISP. And these finalists will receive a total of 500 USD in financial reward. So each proposer, that's okay. Oh, I shouldn't have moved on to this page. So here's where I say drum roll. All right. So drum roll. we move on to the next page where I list out the finalists or the 6 proposals or ideas that were selected. So the final 6 selected ideas are that is the proposals who are set to receive an award of 500 USD. Starting with the 4 ideas that were selected by the community hubs, we have the Hyperon Navigator, Autonomous Meta Tutor, and Refiner. It received 40 votes from the On-Chain Asia Community Hub. The second idea is Swarm Logic Verifier, decentralized truth checking agent, which also received a total of 40 votes from the On-Chain Asia Community Hub. Then we have AgroHub Intelligence Agent for Community Governance, which also received 5 votes from African Women in AI or African Women in AI. And the last of the 4, but not the least, Autonomous Digital Accessibility Assurance Agent, which had 2 votes from Agrotech Hub. Then the 2 ideas that were selected by the CRISP are as follows: Auto Red Team plus Meta, Agentic Safety Gate, and the second, Agentic Memory Weaver, AMW. Okay, let me move on to the next. Okay, so what the CRISP process demonstrates. So CRISP was designed to test and apply a governance model that balances openness and participation, which it really does because the CRISP team comprises of members from different circles, clear evaluation criteria, accountability in decision-making, respect for both innovation and feasibility. So moving from 140 submissions to a reviewed set of 11 proposals required trust in the process of commitment from all participants. The process demonstrates how community-led evaluation mechanisms and support structured and transparent idea selection within the decentralized ecosystem. So that's it. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you. Let's show some love to Egu. He has done so well. And a big shout out to the CRIPS team. This exercise was quite vigorous because the ideas were 140, right, Egu?
Yes. Yeah.
140 ideas, then moved to 20 ideas, then later screened to 11, then later 6. Wow, this is interesting. Well, my idea wasn't part. I submitted an idea, but I didn't get to the
No, so one thing you need to know is that to everyone who submitted an idea, even the people who saw the challenge and thought of ideas, I mean, you're all winners to us. Trust me. So don't be down.
Oh, okay. At least I'll feel okay with what you said. It would be nice to have the voucher too. So maybe if you would consider and add my idea to the 20 winners who had a voucher, it would be nice. Just because today I'm hosting the town hall. So this is a personal request from Priscilla to Crips. So you guys should consider my idea. Yes, I get to do this because I'm hosting the town hall. Yeah. Thank you very much, Egu, for coming here and telling us more about the winners and all the ideas that won the Agentic AI Ideation Challenge. Oh, guys, let's give the last round of applause to all the winners and all those who participated in the challenge. Everybody is a winner, like me. Thank you, everybody. So moving on to one of the people I'm actually excited to hear from this evening. Her name is Livia Zaharia. The name is very beautiful. Before I introduce her, guys, today is her birthday. So I want us to use this opportunity to wish her a big happy birthday. This is from the Deep Funding team, from the event circle, from all the circles in Deep Funding. We are wishing you a big happy birthday. And we hope that this new year will bring you all that your heart desires. with plenty prosperity and in good health. Because today we will be talking, or she'll be presenting about something that has to do with health. So
yeah, thank you. First, thank you very much for the well wishes. And yeah, it's a bit confusing because it is my birthday and I have like a somewhat of a cold, but I'll survive. I have the requirements next to me, that is tissues mostly. And well, that's what is needed. But we
Hi.
have things prepared, and I also have like a very slight demo to show like updates after presentation, because well, presentation is first to introduce the subject. So let me see about the sharing. Okay, I'll do screen sharing. I know it's a bit ugly, but we'll do it classical way. Let me see if I can make this smaller. No, and I don't know how to, it hides. Okay, so we'll start the presentation. I'm Livia Zaharia, founder of Glucose DAO and the type 1 diabetic. And so our purpose here is to let you control your glucose, not your glucose control you. And why would this be a problem? So this is a snapshot of my daily life. It's the glucose variation taken by, unfortunately, you can't see it. The CGM, glucose continuous monitor, is that small implantable device that reads your glucose constantly. And these peaks and lows is basically glucose variation, which in case of type 1 can be actual medical things like extreme hunger. You can actually pass out. You're not just dying on the way to the kitchen, you are like falling. And after you eat, you have this huge going up. But the thing is, it's not only me, it's also other millions of people with type 1. And well, if you're thinking, okay, but I'm not a diabetic, so how does that involve me? Well, you can actually compare. So here are two graphs of non-diabetic and diabetic, like parallel. You can see the actual graphical differences. But what's important, in the case of non-diabetic, it's more predictable. And in the case of diabetic, it's less predictable due to these variations. Actually, we can go back to the first presentation with the peaks. What triggered the peaks? Well, in this case, it's more of an organic system. So looking at what triggers variations in non-diabetics, you can have like very common things like losing weight or exercising or like just trying to maintain a healthier lifestyle. So they're all correlated to glucose. In case of losing weight, you have this like everyone has it when you start to fast, and then after fasting, oh, you just want something sweet or something, well, unhealthy. And you have this variation which induces kind of stress. In case of sports, athletes try to maintain their glucose as plain as possible, yeah, as non-variative as possible, so that they have like a constant energy source to get that extra mile, that extra minute, that whatever extra they need. And well, in the case of like just healthier lifestyle for getting older, or well, not as in shape as when we were 20, it's just like regular maintenance basically. So it is not a cause only for diabetics, but also for non-diabetic people. What we try to do exactly, basically, we want to use the data from the CGM and to predict the next hour of glucose. Mostly like a trend to see the curve, what's going to happen. This will give you time to react. At the moment, all medical devices do, all fitness apps do is reading what's constant. They don't do prediction or forecasting or whatever. How we're going to do is basically we're training a foundational glucose prediction model with the public datasets available. And we're gonna service this to the apps, because basically there are lots of help paths, and you don't have to like compete on the market with everyone. You can just integrate with what exists. You have several apps that integrate your Aura, your CGM, your Samsung smartwatch, Apple Watch, whatever. Then with this data, basically you can see the reading, and you can forward the data for fine-tuning so that the model would be even more precise for your use case, because everyone is different. Everything is done via API and a service. This is all made possible by our wonderful team here presented and our scientific advisory board, actually, who are authors of paper relating on benchmarking glucose. And as add-ons, this is going to be one of the presentations a bit after. We're also doing a trial on human accuracy, because as you might know, in everything which is machine learning or AI, they ask you how well or how good do you compare with other models or with human benchmarking, for example, in computer vision. You say, how good does it go compared to how humans detect? Well, in case of glucose, you don't know. So you don't know how accurate a human is at actually looking at the graph and saying, I think in the next hour, I'm going to go high or low, because nobody tested. So we want to do this via a very interactive trial in the form of an online game. That's one of the interests. And well, for the ending, we have obviously the connection page. And now I want to show you the development stage. That's why I did the ugly thing with screen sharing. It won't take long. So this is how the game, and I needed to do it like this because it's on my computer at home, looks. So you'll have basically a landing page. You have several languages. Well, at the moment, we only put German, Ukrainian, because for German, we have a partnership with Rostock University, and for Ukrainian, we have some interest for some funding that translates the text. You have, well, multiple choices here. For example, you can share your data if you want to play with your data, or you can go with generic one. For example, if we just go like this, you'll have example. You have some free things to complete. Like I said, this is testing, so that's why I can have this to have some entries. And when you go like start prediction, you have source example CVS, and you have the graph. And all you have to do is basically, well, you can do it more nicely than I do at the moment. Just draw the graph and you can submit. And you have accuracy. As you see, what actually happened was this, and you predicted this. And your accuracy kind of is not the best. And in this case, by the way, because we're also talking with with people in United States, which I know use other system of measurements, I use the European version. But you can, for simplicity, use okay, next round, because you have 12 rounds. You can switch to the units users prefer. So basically, you have this kind of like a game, and okay, injected there. I assume it will go down at a certain point. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. And let's see. Well, apparently not. It was a persistent high. You can finish at any stage because you're not, and you have ranking. Well, obviously it's according to people that played. I have only 17 tries so far, so that's how it went. And yeah, it still has some bugs, but still, this is how it works. And I think it's actually very entertaining for users, which are usually very much discouraged by participating in any trial. So this was submitted actually as part of, well, we labeled it second milestone, but it was actually submitted first. Milestone of our BGI funding. And another, what was the first milestone was actually the service. Wait a second, here, where we deployed basically the service. Well, we have a first model to test. I mean, it's not the best in predictions and stuff like that, but we do need to be sure it runs. So we have
SingularityNET.
Yes, it's a SingularityNET service. So basically, you can load your CVS and you can have your prediction. So it runs and it outputs. We're now working on improving, obviously, the model which is behind it, because we wanted to be sure the service works, but it's stable, it's fast, and well, it means it can be outputted for, well, other user. So I think I actually did it with the demo. I can, where is it? Stop the sharing and get questions if they are, because I haven't checked time or anything.
Yes, well done. Actually, I'm really intrigued. The first time I heard about your project was on the BGI when they were having their rounds earlier last year. And I was really, really, really happy like something like this was going on, because it's difficult for a lot of people to actually keep track of their sugar intake and how everything cannot go down immediately. Your body loses the glucose. I was really impressed with the progress you guys have made so far from then. So it's nice having you here and explaining everything to everybody. Please, do anybody have questions for Olivier? Oh, and also, if you could have the link to the game, maybe other people in the community would like to be part or take part.
Sure, but first we'll have to update. Like I said, I shared with screen because that's what's the latest update. We have the link to the game, but it didn't have that nice thing with languages. And we're going to figure it out like with gameplay, because you have like multiple cases. So you have the cases where you want like, you just want to play with some data, you don't want to share yours or you don't have it. So you play with a generic sample. You have the case where you have your sample and you actually don't care what happens, you need to know about yourself. And you have the case where you want to know, I'm better generical or with my own? So we kind of have to figure out these three cases to make it like like have a workflow, a game flow, let's say, and
Yeah.
to satisfy the trial committee. Yeah, it's an ethical committee board to approve for the trial, to gather the data and because apparently that's how you do it if you want to have like research trials. And we're trying to, well, go by the book, and they're already confused when we're telling them we're going to do a game and not get people into hospital to fill in forms.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you doing?
But you can share GitHub at least.
Yeah, I can share the GitHub though. Anton is
Okay.
next to me.
Okay.
That's he was
Yeah. We have
Hi.
everything is hello. Yeah, so we have open source GitHub organization, and most of the stuff that we developed is open source or will be released open source.
Yeah, so I can share the GitHub indeed. It's just I didn't deploy it on the server. That's the thing. I was testing it locally. Let me find the chat. I found it. So GitHub is here. Yeah, and I pushed the latest changes on it. So it's
Okay. So if anybody wants to take part in the game, you could just go in there. The link is already in the comments so that you could be part, you could go through. You never can tell. Maybe you know someone who is already having type 1 diabetes, you want to predict and see how their glucose is running or how it's flowing through their body or something like that. You could be part of that game. And I have one question. Now we are in a community where everybody is quite scared about their data being out there. So how does this open source like help people build trust in something like this, because this is a health related program and it's quite sensitive. People won't like to be putting their data out there, just
Well,
like
yes, that's why we basically anonymized the data. So we only gathered, we had like email and general location, like city. So you're not specifically, I don't care how that person is called, I don't want details. And things related to the disease, like if it's type 1, if it's type 2, if it's non-diabetic, and duration. Also, all the data is stored with hashes as ID, so we don't track that part. And data itself, I mean, just the glucose values and the timestamps are not that problematic. What people are worried more is about associations. I heard about insurance companies and stuff like that. And most people, at least in the diabetic community, are actually ready to give the data. It's more like the hassle to actually go somewhere, to create an account, download, go to all this. So if they could profit from it, they would. So if they get a direct, like, like positive stuff from it, they wouldn't like bothered. For example, now that we're checking models and stuff like that, we found that the type 1 diabetics databases, larger ones, well, are from medical research, and you have to ask for approval. The thing is, in the medical research, they're already anonymized, but they still don't give you access to the data, even if you tell them it's for research purpose. And your data is anonymized. I mean, even if I have like there 100 users and one user had this data, they are not releasing it. So, I mean, it takes kind of long and it's like very bureaucratic. So you either create your own database or you kind of manage to get into an NDA or something with a hospital to use the data. Most people who trained models are even bound not to release weights because of this.
yeah.
So it's, I mean, not even, we said, okay, we don't care about your data. Can we at least have the model with the weights to test it? No, we can't. But if you have enough data and you're starting to ask, okay, what's enough data? Define number of millions of patients, or how much do you need? That's why it was so frustrating. And at the moment, we got access actually for testing with a type 2, a type 2 database, which is kind of large, and that's why we're having to find out for type 1. And then we want to research because they're they're synthetic generators. Obviously, it's not as accurate as natural data, but if we find a model that performs well with natural data, then we can train it so we don't have this issue you published weights of unknown people with trained if it's not
Can I also clarify several things? So for the sugar game, we do pseudo-anonymization, and the only thing we need is more emails. And when the statistical analysis will be done, during the analysis, things will be anonymized with hashes. In terms of AI service that we have at SingularityNET, and these just people send their glucose data and maybe information needed for prediction, like if they are type 1 or type 2, or if they need injection. And they don't send even emails, they don't send names, so you cannot actually detect who it is just by glucose patterns. And in terms of the whole process, so in our case, so we have 5 milestones, I think, and so we improve our models, and the stuff, it's beneficial generative intelligence. It means that the code is will be open sourced, and also the models will be open weight. In terms of the data, the data sources that are used to train them, actually we have a lot of data sets. Livia just mentioned, AR8 is the largest one when we kind of have limitations of how we use it. So the data sets that are open, I mean, they are open, there are downloaders for them. Those that are not open, we cannot release them. And so the first stage is to give the community the service for research, as well as open source code and open weight models, so they can contribute to research. And also, if needed, such model can be run on your device, so you can run it on Android or something. In terms of further outreach, because if we want to get to like millions of people, and we have I think 9 million active CGM users, and potentially I think that's 15 million overall who use CGM. And in terms of use cases, it's type 1, type 2, and type 2 is like 500 million. And in terms of also healthy people, a lot of people want to optimize diet, and there things are a bit more complex. You cannot just go and get to Google Play Store with a research grade model because there are regulations. So there we actually got into Rubik Health Stack Accelerator just to try to push it to get actually user use it. And there you have to go through real hell in terms of people. Most of the people don't really know how terribly everything is regulated in European Union and also in US. But the stuff that we do for BGI, as I told, for research purpose, it will be open source so people can benefit.
Okay, so Anton, if you finish, I'm going to say the answer to the question in the chat because I was typing, but it's faster. So regarding how food, eating, drinking is included in model training, CGMs have like a category where users input like, I have eaten. And they unfortunately have to estimate because you're looking at a hamburger and that hamburger, you say 50 carbs, but the sauce is like sweeter and it's actually 60. So that's a bit trickier. However, you have a flag that an event of eating or whatever, adding carbs has happened, and actually model can interpret it. So if you look actually at the deployment that we have on SingularityNET, you can SingularityNET, you can check it because we use the simple model and it has like a difference. And I was looking at it and I didn't understand that difference. Is because to test a simple model, we didn't input like with these flags with markers of eating and insulin, because these are kind of user-based, like user inputs, and you can forget about it. You simply forget because when you want to eat, you just eat. You're not thinking, let me get my phone and input, I'm going to eat now. Well, if you don't train the model to look for them, it kind of will have errors. If it looks for them, even if you don't necessarily input them, it learns that usually a high somehow happens after there is a flag there. And if a high happens, it's clearly something suspicious. So it knows how to basically read it. And if you have, for example, well, in case of diabetics, because, well, normal people don't have injections, it will know that after injection, something must happen and go low. So it's a trigger. So that's about the eating part. The individuals on the team and scientific, what worked well. So in the case of the individuals of the team, the project started, well, with me, who was angry that, look, we have this wonderful AI, can tell a lettuce and a cat and a dog apart if you put an image, but can't look and tell me what's going to happen with a squiggly line just 1 hour into the future. I mean, what's so hard? It's a line. I'm not asking to be the next Da Vinci and do some flying apparatus. And we found out that telling what's going to happen with a squiggly line 1 hour into the future is more complicated, actually, than telling what kind of cat that is. And then we gradually gathered the team. So first was Anton, who came with the idea, like, did you hear about transformers? And then let's make a DAO and stuff like that. And we gradually gathered other people. So Nikolai, which is here, was a friend of Anton and came and decided it's a nice subject to help, and he helped us with DevOps. He was the one who faced all the service deployment nightmare, and
And also
Yeah.
got through SingularityNET documentation
Yes.
nightmare. I hope he put really detailed several page
Yes.
how terrible the documentation is. I
Yeah.
hope, as I promised to fix it.
Yes, for model training and machine learning, we have new team members which are more specialized on this part, because we do have some basic knowledge about them, but we decided it's better to have some people who are trained. And Andrei, I think it's
So Andrei Losanyuk in Ukraine, the one actually who also trained the Ukrainian large language model LAPA. So he is helping. So technically, machine learning is done by majority of the team. So me, Livia also write code, but Andrei is like the major expert, and also like Alex Karmazian is helping him. He is the guy who actually designed machine learning to shoot rockets at Russians. Yeah, so we have we have 3 Ukrainians in the team. I live in Bucharest, and the other guys are like 2 other in Ukraine.
spread around.
Yeah, and one person, Nikolai, he is now in Montenegro, and me and Livia are in
Bucharest.
Bucharest. Also, a few words about like food and so on. So for healthy people, it's also because originally Livia didn't tell the story that you discovered that actually COVID messes up glucose pattern.
Actually, it was because of pandemic. So, I had these sensors like for, I think, 5 years, and then pandemic stroke. And usually first-time users are always opening the phone and checking. And I said, my graphics is a bit off. Oh, maybe it's a sensor error. Maybe I'm tired or whatever. And then 3 days after I was just tired, I woke up with a wonderful cough, which obviously at the home test came out negative. And I said, I'm going to do a PCR. PCR confirmed it was what we always thought. And 2 weeks, I had nothing better to do just to stay in home and wonderful coughing. And I noticed that when I was starting my coughing fits, I literally had a huge spike. And I was starting to think, because everything there was like protect everyone, stay indoors and stuff like that, I was thinking, look, this thing seems to predict when I'm going to cough. If people would have looked at graphs before actually going out, can you imagine how many people would not come in contact with coughing people? And I was like, and why aren't they doing this? And after this time passed, I asked my friends who were like programmers, look, I have this. Can we do something with the data? They were like, oh no, it's medical data. It's too complicated. It's such much a headache. And I said, okay, you can't do it. Then I'm going to do it. So I do the programming course. I did the basic like processing, literally basic processing.
But Livia is an architect by education, like real buildings, not software.
And after that, I kind of got stuck at the AI part, because I was like, okay, I can process the data, wonderful, but still, how do I make it like infer something from it? It's absolutely wonderful. And obviously I was a bit pissed also on scientific community, because I was like, it's your duty. Why aren't you doing anything? You have PhDs, you have people working in labs. Why aren't you researching this? Because you have the data. Why isn't Big Pharma researching it? Because actually it owns all the data, you don't have to ask. It's your product. And Big Pharma was not interested, because they're making money without having to invest more money, basically.
So just for your knowledge, the average score of Android apps from producers of CGMs that don't do prediction is 2.3 stars. And they also country lock it, and sometimes it stops working if you are in the wrong country. So there is, and actually that's one of the reasons we learn further why everything is so shitty, is because regulations are totally blocking initiatives. People train good models and they cannot deliver those models because Like, I mean, regulation is another topic because
Yeah.
it's not about how good your model is, but if you go through bureaucratic procedure of doing so if you go like, if you predict like something for like lifestyle, okay, your wellness, it's a bit easier from one side. From another side, it's a bit like hard because, for example, there was a question from food. For diabetic, it's not, well, usually you get the data like carbs, but for like healthy people, you have to select way larger data set of like exact details of food. And something people usually, when they try CGMs, they learn some facts. Like I learned that polenta is way more dangerous than ice cream for me. Like it spikes.
Because every human is different in this
Yeah.
case, by the way. So that's why we have to have that fine-tuning stage. Because you can't say what's going to go me crazy high, it's going to be the same for others. So there people who go high from sweet cheese. I mean, not sweetened cheese, like just cheese, which is not sour. While other people have no issues with it, it's protein. It's more like how you process them. And well, because we are such a large number of people, nobody is bothered by individuals. We found universities who are trying to do the same thing, and they told me they gave up because after 15 minutes they become, I quote, fuzzy. The data becomes fuzzy. And what they pivoted to was like to create categories, like you are in this cluster. It's wonderful, I told them. And if you tell me if I'm in that cluster, how does that help me? I mean, it tells me like I should eat less, I don't know, fats or should eat earlier or something. I mean, like directly, how does it impact me? No, but it's good for research because it can tell you that that cluster is more likely to, I don't know, have, I don't know, cardiovascular problems or something. So it's wonderful. It's great for statistics and probably for health insurance, but it kind of does not help.
So we have like academia where like models are not very usable by end users, so you can just run it on your device, and not it's good for research, but not really helpful. And there also only like 1/4 of them are open or public. So we have a huge problem of having open innovation and open data sets. In our case, actually, our advisors, they are Irina, she is actually a creator of GlucoBench benchmark, and she made like this data set of awesome CGM with open source. So we kind of had advisors that actually really want to open things up and solve the problem by research. And actually her husband is type 1 diabetic.
Yeah, everyone kind of who's involved in this kind of either is or has someone who has this issue, and they're like, everyone is looking, why the fuck is nothing being done with it? I mean, it's like such obvious stuff. And when you try to put it, it's not just diabetic guys, it influences you too. They're like, but I mean, I eat like crazy. And we did a trial in Zeller City where normal people, well, non-diabetics, just had for 10 days, how long a Libre lasted, a sensor. And they obviously started experimenting. So they went ice cream, they went all the crazy food they could think of. And they were like, oh my God, I can eat this and go so crazy from just a banana? Yes, just from a banana. It can go crazy. And then we had another friend of us who was like skinny, who I think he was 65 kilograms and shorter than
Anything
me.
more than me.
Anything
More
like
than two of us, I would
4
say.
meals a day and had no spike. And we were looking, man, what are you doing? I don't know, I'm hungry. So it depends. It just depends. You can't know until you try. And honestly, it's a good thing to test it. So, I mean, especially if you are preoccupied with your general.
Yeah, so guys, we are open to answer any question. I don't know, it's just more about your time because we don't want to drag everybody for a long time. I think we are out of our 15 minutes.
I think so.
Yeah.
I like how you guys are really invested into this, and it's beautiful to see how like there are so many stories behind this particular project, and it's really beautiful to have you guys here. I guess we don't have any more questions, so thank you very much, Livia, for coming, and Andrea for just being there and supporting Livia throughout this phase and project. And happy birthday again. And it's nice to have you on the town hall. We will hope to have you next time when you've achieved other milestones, and we'll bring you here for you to share with the community again.
And we're also grateful because we will start our trial maybe in a month or two. So if you could share it and spread the word, because we really need community help to make science happen. It will be scientific publications. We target 2 papers at least, from like one from the study and one on the model scientifically.
Yes, I would reach out to Olivier, then we'll take it up from there. So Deep Funding, we have a marketing circle. Maybe they could help and post this on social media so that creates more awareness for you as well.
Yep.
Thank you guys for coming here.
Thanks.
Okay. Moving on, we have our very own Miriam from the best circle in Deep Funding. Whoop, 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 whoop. She's here to just have a community spotlight session for us. Miriam, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Priscilla, for that introduction. And happy birthday, Davia. It was really lovely to hear and see all the work that you've done. And so we are so grateful for spending that you chose to spend today with us in this way. Thank you so much. All right, guys, moving on to the spotlight section. As you all know, this is a part of the town hall where we, spotlight active contributors of our community, guys who are working on stuff, who've been a part of stuff, who are just, also happy to be here, right? Just to get to know them a little better and talk to them a little better and, just spotlight all of the great work that we are doing. Now, today, our spotlight guest is, round of warm virtual applause, Andre. Andre, hello. Are you on the call?
Yeah. Hello. How are you?
Hello. So good to see you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. It really is a pleasure to have you. Some of you might recognize his face from Town Hall 71 that we had in October 2025, where he came to share his own project as an awarded team member. And today we just want to get to know Andre a little bit more. So, as you all know, if you have a question for Andre, if you have similar thoughts or whatever, just leave it in the chat box while he speaks, and would attend to whatever questions and would, read out whatever comments that you leave. All right, Andre, let's just get right into it. My first question, your work looks at how individual agents create collective behavior. And I found it really interesting when I read your bio. And I'd just like to know, as an individual, as a scientist now, what first sparked your curiosity in complex systems?
Oh, that's a great question. Let me ask you this. Can we share 3 slides to get a brief overview of what is a complex system?
I should explain what complex systems are.
No, yeah. Can I share 3 slides?
Yeah, sure.
That's awesome.
Hold on, let me grant you. Priscilla, please, could you grant him co-host? All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So complex systems. So I have 3 slides to be quick that I prepared for you. And first, I would introduce what are complex systems. So the most important part of complex systems, I think, is that you always have many interacting components. So, and this, when I say many, it's more than millions. It's like billions, trillions components. And what you really want to see is if small interactions between a few numbers of individuals or components of such systems can trigger larger events. Like if you get a flu, and then your lab, the friend that you have on your lab gets the same flu, if you can contaminate the whole university, maybe the whole city. So, or if you have some shock in a financial market, let's say in Japan, if that can propagate and make everyone, poor around the world. So, our idea is to track how such small and located phenomena can spark, let's say, a collective phenomena, exuberant collective phenomena. And of course, you have collective behavior, nonlinearity, feedback loops, adaptation, sensitivity to initial conditions, and of course, network dynamics. And why complex systems? So it's because many of the problems that science faces today, as we were seeing by the previous presentation, involves having a lot of data from different for a huge number of individuals to get great results. So this was one example of a nice problem to be investigated that involves many interacting components to generate the data that you plan to investigate. So this is one example, but you have way more. And the ones that in particular catch my attention are related to failures in smart infrastructures like power line, power transmission networks, financial crisis, and also the spread of infectious disease, military conflicts, global supply disruptions. And since we are investigating those interconnected systems, a natural extension was, at least for us, to try to understand how we can use complex systems framework to leverage distributed decision making and artificial intelligence development. And at the top of that, we were combining all of this with quantum computing. So yeah, I don't plan to continue with this, but I can give a more detailed presentation later. But at least we have a good impression of what is a complex system. Is that okay? So is that okay for you all? So nice. Yeah, we can have more time later. Yeah.
Yes, that very much is. I think you're the very first spotlight guest who has ever done a slide presentation to explain something to us, and that's really really great. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that's
So the first
oh
question, right? The first
yeah
question. So repeat the
yeah.
question for our audience, please, and for me.
Okay, so the question was, since your work looks at how individual agents create collective behavior, what first sparked your interest, your curiosity in complex systems?
Yeah, I'm a physicist, and my training is focused on statistical mechanics. So my training is like the let's say that my core ability is to try to identify group behavior when you have systems that present many agents interacting. So statistical mechanics is about, okay, you don't know what this molecule can do in the next few seconds, but if you have many of them, you will know. So I may have trouble trying to describe what you're going to do after this meeting. So I don't know what's in your mind. Even maybe even you don't know what you're going to do. However, in some particular situations, we can expect some behaviors of you. Let's say, let's suppose that we are having a huge discount later today in a shopping, or the shipping sinking and we need to leave. So now, in some particular scenarios, the group behavior can be we can predict. So we are interested in investigating these special case where we can group everyone in a single entity and see what happens. So since I am a physicist with this core background in statistical mechanics, using this to model system with a huge number of interactions was natural and very interesting, because the most powerful part of it is you can learn statistical mechanics and how huge numbers interact. and then you can solve a bunch of problems in different areas like biology, epidemiology, finance, sociology, technology, So it's awesome. It's really awesome. Very powerful framework.
Yes, it sounds very much like a very powerful framework. And I was just thinking about this sci-fi movie I'd seen recently where in order to stop a terrorist attack, a group of physicists that decided to build a time travel machine of sorts. And it wasn't just about stopping the attack then, it was about stopping the roots of the ideology. And they had to go back in time to stop the root of the ideology. And to the people in the past who were trying to chase the killers, it seemed like this was a killer on, that was running wild and killing random people without connection. But it was all about how one person became one person's friend and then married one person and had a child
Yeah.
with one person and, married the next person and they had the conversation because they were friends. And that's basically how, in generations to come, seemingly individual particles or objects have now led to such collective behavior that has devastated the entire world. So I think that's a very powerful mechanism. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing that, Andre. All right, moving on to the next question. If you were not doing what you do now, and I know that this is a tough one because you sound like you love what you're doing, what's another path you could see yourself taking, even if it's just for fun? And you know what, just to make this question spicier of sorts, money is not a factor. You have all the money in the world. Any kind.
No, don't do that. Oh, look, I'm a scientist since I was a kid. So doing science is my passion. I believe that we need to do our work with intention, and meaning, things should be built with intention, not because they need to see the light of the world, but you need to design, models, new science or mechanism or applications with a clear and beautiful intention. So I think that the best, field that I could work by imprinting this particular profile of having intention, having a design and a purpose is in science. However, life is way broader than this. And if we could see, okay, let's do something different. Oh, I can see myself playing, video games all day, you say, so I see no problem by doing that. And I would say that I would also love to work on motorcycles. I have some, and I work on them in my free time. So yes, I think they are beautiful, and you can have a memorable experience by riding motorcycles. So yeah.
Oh, that's really lovely. I like that you've mentioned that all we do should have meaning and intention, even if it's just, playing video games and riding on motorcycles. And that is something I'd like to learn. I know how to ride a bicycle really well. I've been pro at it, but I need to, up my game and get a motorcycle too. So perhaps we might have virtual lessons. Thank you, Andrea. You're doing great, and we're almost done. All right, next question. When people work with you or think of you, what's a quality or an impression you hope they carry with them?
Oh, well, I would say resilience, but no. I prefer to say purpose. Yes, intention. We are doing this because we can really build something meaningful. And of course, it's great when you have funding for doing such tasks. But the main goal is to create something that can impact, others, that can create history. So my main, what I really like to share with my students, since I'm a professor in two universities in Brazil, at the University of Pernambuco, and in the USA at the State University of New York, Polytechnic Institute. What I really like to share with my colleagues and students is to find purpose first, then start working. So then money will flow, then results will come. So first you need to decide who you are within this challenging, environment that we are going to face right now. So I believe that building, solutions with intentions and with purpose is the most important part of the work.
Thank you so much, Andrea. And I hope that everyone who works with you, forever I know that that is something we definitely would remember of you today, that you are a man that works with intention and with purpose. Interestingly, I think one of my pastors had defined one time that purpose is the one thing which you must succeed, and every other thing which you succeed at that is not that thing is basically a failure, because purpose is just that one thing that you just have to do. And I think that's a very interesting and meaningful way to live, however long we are alive, to live with purpose and with intent, realizing that our actions and inactions will always have ripple effects in time of sorts. All right, next question. What attracted you to the deep funding ecosystem?
Oh yeah, let's move to that part. Well, sometimes we as scientists, we face problems that are on the edge of these structures that can fund your ideas and promote the light of the day to shine in your solution. Like, okay, I have this and this is awesome and this is great, but no one's going to understand. This is funny because in my life I had this for some opportunities, this experience, like, hey, give me funding for this. And no, this worth nothing. So yeah, there's no value on this. We are not funding you. And then next year, okay, fund me. This is nice. And people, no, get out. 5 years later, they said, oh, this is incredible. This is the future. Have your funding. I know I'm saying this for 5 years, now. So yeah, so the current funding structures depend on people comprehending the relevance of what you are trying to bring. So sometimes this is not clear. And you need to move to a community where people are trying to change history. So this is what I felt working with Deep Funding. I was invited by some colleagues and friends. Oh, you should take a look. This might be a great place for you to have your research. And right now, we are working on a project that involves quantum computing and artificial intelligence. So our idea is to leverage the power of quantum computers to perform AGI in artificial intelligence tasks, like better, faster, cheaper, I don't know. So since we have this beautiful and frontier vision that in my country, Brazil, we are seeing, like, right now we are seeing some people starting the discussions around that. I cannot wait. So Deep Funding, they want this. They want to create this wonderful future. So we had this alignment between something that we thought that we could do and develop and Deep Funding wanting to move in the same direction. So it was an alignment, a great alignment. And we believe that the whole community will benefit. We are creating a great material. So anyone can start. I would say that because it can be really mean, right? But we are trying to create a documentation, a comprehensive documentation for anyone to, okay, let's see what's going on this. And then you can get a nice introduction, start writing your own quantum codes. So I believe every computer scientist and engineer and even physicist should pay some attention to quantum computing because it's emerging like rapidly right now, and I'm seeing many efforts in different parts of the world to comprehend and dominate this technology. So I'm planning to facilitate this by our work within the Deep Funding community.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Andrea, and that warms our hearts. We are very glad to know that in some way we are part of your journey and your creation Thank you. All right, final question. Looking ahead, what's one idea or direction you are most curious to explore at the intersection of AI, collective behavior, and society?
Okay, this is about everything is about creating the end of the world, right? So I'm trying to get out of this direction right now. But I don't know. It's so hard to think in critical implications of this work without facing the end of the earth. But I believe that if we have really powerful AI systems that can be enabled by quantum computing, and I don't want to talk too much about this, but we believe to enable this for everyone, we would need to interconnect them, So we'll need different AI systems in different locations. And we really believe that a safe AI system can benefit from blockchain technology. So you have the same AI distributed in different places, and you can trust their results because they will blockchain their opinions. So, and since I investigate consensus dynamics when I study collective phenomena, so I believe that we can get some ideas from, get the powerful quantum computers and make the structures of the AI be, transversed using quantum algorithms like quantum walks. And we can also like have this beautiful and decentralized AI system that cannot be infected, locally, and you can trust their outputs because it gets something from the blockchain technology. So working on complex systems like this, you don't respect boundaries because you can work in any area. And the common framework of complex systems is data science and complex networks. So yeah, it's kind of hard to put in a box, but there is some ideas that we are exploring. Those are some ideas.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see all that you will get into and do in this year. Thank you for being our spotlight guest today. Thank you for sharing so candidly. We are so grateful. And really, I'm so excited. I love that idea of, you can trust AI because of blockchain technology. And I'm just really curious to see all the projects that would come up from the deep funding community that can help advance truly beneficial general intelligence and AGI. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Andrea. You were terrific. I learned so much, and I'm sure others did as well. Thank you so much. All right, Priscilla, over to you.
Wow, what a beautiful town hall we've had today. All our guests on here were really amazing. And we want to thank everybody who is here from the beginning and all those who joined later. All our presenters from Oscar to Egu to Livier to Andrea to Mariam, everybody, thank you for being here and for sharing those amazing things with us. And for Deep Funding, if you want to look for us on X, you can find us on Twitter at Deep Funding, and you will see us. On LinkedIn, we are there at Deep Funding. On YouTube, we are there at Deep Funding. And on our website, you can find us on deepfunding.ai. You could create your profile on Explore and join the conversations. There are a lot of things happening in the community. So if you go on the website, you see all the amazing stuff listed there and be part of the community. So what a way to end the town hall. Guys, let's give ourselves a round of applause for staying till this time. It's past our usual time, but everybody is just here and it's really nice to see everybody. So you could unmute and say bye-bye to someone and wish someone well as we end the town hall. Oh, and a big birthday to you, Livia, for being here with us and celebrating your birthday with us. So we are really grateful you are here. Oh, and X Space is coming up on Monday, next week, Monday, 7 p.m. UTC on X. So please don't miss it. Keep it on your calendar and join us. We have an amazing guest coming up. Thank you guys for joining the town hall. And it's bye-bye from us, from Deep Funding and from the event circle. Oh, you could unmute and say bye-bye to someone.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Bye, Olivia. Bye, Andrea. Bye, Carl.
Bye.
Bye,
Yeah.
Abdul. Bye, Nora. Bye, Cressy.
Bye, Carl.
Bye, Deep Funding. Bye, Deep Funding.
Yes, bye, Deep Funding. Bye, Deep Funding. Bye, Cardoso. You've just left me here. Didn't show your camera. I saw you, and I'm still seeing you. Hi, Cardoso.
All right, I think we can end the recording now.
I know.
Bye.
Is it still recording?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The host and the co-host, please stop the recording.
I think Raphael is host.